Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Commander Clash podcast, where we talk all things Commander. And today, we are completing our Lord of the Rings tier list. We've done cards A to G in the last podcast, and today we're going to finish things off with G to Z. So remember, it's a tier list where we rank the power level of all the Lord of the Rings legendaries as your commander. If they're your favorite character and they didn't get a good card, they're going to get a bad grade, but that's not a knock on your character. It's just how the Magic card works. This week, Tomer is away, but joined with me is Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive. How are you doing?
I am doing super well. Excited to talk about the rest of these cards. There's so many legends in this set.
And Krim, the Asian Avenger. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited to finish this out, or try to.
There will not be a third movie. This is the end of the series until we randomly reboot a couple years in the future.
The definitive cut. All right.
And Tomer is not here, but we have all his ratings, so we will inject his opinion into this on behalf of him. But he was here last episode, so you can get an idea of how he's rating the cards. There will
He's
be
in Middle Earth right now. He's in Middle Earth right now.
There will be a link with the actual all the ratings in the show notes, so you can find them either in the show notes or the description. So you can get all the ratings there. So before we get into it, our sponsor today is Card Conduit, and Card Conduit is the easiest way to sell your Magic cards. It lets you skip all the typing, time, and work associated with buy listing. Their curated service lets you send in as many cards as you want with buy list value $1 or more, and you'll pay just a 5% service fee. And you can use their sorted service where you list and sort your cards and pay only 2%. You get a detailed report and fast payment once your order is processed, and you get 10% off by heading to cardconduit.com/mtggoldfish. So thank you, Card Conduit. If you need to sell cards to buy Lord of the Rings cards, I recommend using Card Conduit. All right, let's get down to business. So we are at G. There are 120 something odd legends in here, and we're halfway through. So, kicking off today's podcast, we're gonna go with Gorbag of Minas Morgul. Let me pull him up. So, 2-drop, 2/2. It's an uncommon legendary orc soldier. Whenever a goblin or orc you control deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice it. When you do, choose one, draw a card, or create a treasure token. We actually came out at a B average here. 3 Bs and a C with Seth lowest on the card.
I was a B for a minute, but the more I think about it, I can't imagine really playing this as my commander. I realize there's like several orc legends, and if you're playing goblins, like you definitely don't want to play this as your commander, I don't think. So I'm not sure I don't know. Why would I play this as my commander? What makes it a B?
You can draw cards in the command zone.
I actually thought this was a B because I also was like Seth. I thought this was like pretty decent, right? And then I think I valued it more as like a 99 card and not a commander. So I think I'm joining you probably at C.
99 is sweet. I would jam this in goblins in the 99 for sure.
Yeah, this is definitely more of a 99 card than it is a commander because you also just cut off a whole color with this as your commander.
I mean, so there are red orcs. So if you're using like Magic the Gathering orcs, they're red. But are all of the Lord of the Rings orcs black?
No, I mean, there's like the Shagrat is a Rakdos orc legend from the Lord of the Rings set. Monihar is another Rakdos one. So they're Rakdos really. So even in the Lord of the Rings set.
Okay. I still like it. I mean, you cut off a color, but we do play, we don't just play 5C for everything, sometimes.
Well, you're losing red, though. Red is so big.
But it's a 2-drop commander that does work. I mean, are there better commanders? Yes. But will Gorbag still win you games? I believe so. I think Gorbag's ability is pretty strong.
I don't think Gorbag wins you games. What? On his own? As a commander?
No,
I like it with armies.
On his own, he does nothing. He's literally a grizzly bear. But if you have other orcs, right, you can draw cards to make treasures. What more do you want?
You also have to sack him.
Yeah, you have to sack him. So,
All right.
oh my
all
god.
right,
that
all
would
right,
cost a
all right.
lot.
Gorbag, C. Tomer,
Yeah.
Tomer is left at B. He's not able to downgrade.
Yeah, he can't defend himself.
Yeah, he can't defend himself. It's like serviceable to good, somewhere in there. Gorbag.
Okay.
Gothmog, Morgul Lieutenant, 4 mana, black, 3/3, also uncommon. When it enters a battlefield, amass Orc 1. Creature tokens you control have Death Touch. We're not too high on Gothmog. D's across the board, except for Tomer with a C.
I mean, maybe this is that Gorbag deck that you want.
I will say this card did work for me in limited. Giving your creature tokens Death Touch is actually pretty good. Is it D worthy? Probably, right? Like amass 1 on your commander is not that good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's 4 mana. Amass 1's not that impressive. It's only a 3/3. Like, I see it being a good limited card, but it's a tough sell as your commander, I think.
All right. Okay. Grima, Saruman's Footman, 4 mana Dimir, 1/4, legendary creature human advisor. Grima can't be blocked. When Grima deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile an instant or sorcery card. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Then that player puts the exiled cards that weren't cast this way onto the bottom of their library in a random order.
I mean, this
B's
card
across
is-
the board, except me, who I gave it a C.
We just played against this, right? Not too long ago, maybe by the time this airs, right? But like, this is sweet. This is in the Sauron Precon. And it's just Chaos Wand on a body.
I do love Chaos Wand. I mean, I don't think this is an especially strong commander. I've played too many Chaos Wands and have them whiff too many times to think of it as a strong commander. But it does seem like a fun commander. I love just like stealing your opponent's spells. It works well with the variance of the format. You never know what you're going to hit. So it leads to these really fun moments. So I think it's a really fun card. I don't think it's like super pushed or anything, but it seems fun.
Blockable? I don't know. I mean, I think this card is sweet.
Fun, but it's fun for the rest of the table as they watch you rip unplayable cards off the top of everyone's library. I don't know that Chaos Wand is where we want to be, which is why I gave Grima a C there.
I mean, your mileage
level.
may vary. Power level wise, it's either the best or the worst thing you've ever done.
I'll give it a B for fun, okay? For fun. We're ranking on a fun scale. Grima's up there.
Obviously, on consistency, I mean, like, just power level, like, this could get really busted cards. It could also get, I don't know, a fatal push or something like that.
I think the big issue is people are going to be scared of it, even though they shouldn't be scared of it, because Chaos One's not good. But one thing Magic players hate is just like people beating them with their own cards. So you know it's going to die. It's a 1/4 for 4. It's like not a very powerful creature. So you know it's going to die way more than it should. So that's actually my main concern is I think it's going to draw hate that it doesn't deserve just because people fear that you're going to like hit their best card or whatever, even though it's not a super rational fear.
Yeah. Okay. But it would be how funny you build like a steal spells from the top of your deck, and then your opponent is playing like mono green creatures, no ramp, just mana dorks in play. Like just only fight creatures that you're like I like nothing. You go through the entire deck.
Then you don't hit them.
Would this be too powerful?
That's true.
Would this be too powerful if it milled the cards rather than put them to the bottom like the whiffs? Like then it could be like a mill commander.
No, this would be way worse though. If you don't like
that's
swing a
gonna
body
make it
blind, you're gonna mill like half someone's library for fun.
Well, Seth, don't say less. You don't gotta like make me happy like that. Okay. If it did though, I would love this card even more. Are you kidding? Mill until you hit instant or sorcery. That all creature deck gets pantsed.
No one plays all creature decks though. It's exceptionally rare. Okay, Grima Wormtongue. This is the uncommon version of Grima. Also a 1/4, 3 mana, mono black. Your opponents can't gain life. Tap, sack another creature. Target player loses 1 life. If the sacrifice creature is legendary, amass Orcs 2. I'm surprised. We actually went C's on this. And then with a D in there. C average, but this is just like random filler, right?
Wait, this isn't that bad of a commander. It shuts off the ability to gain life. You get to sack another target creature, then target a player loses a life. You could totally.
We're
you get
poo-pooing
a mass.
You were not selling
we're
me
talking
on
of
this.
Greenbaum. We're talking
Hold.
I mean, this
You
might be an
untap this
okay-
bad boy, and then you do it again. That's too light.
Oh, 2 life. Yeah,
Yo, but you
I
are
mean,
a mass
this is like
4.
this is like a sideboard card, 360 card format. So it's not a commander.
I don't think it's a good card, but it's not like.
you don't even put in the 99. I don't think this is
What?
a little sus.
I don't think this is that bad.
Maybe Radadrobic, which specifically cares about sacking legends, but outside of that, I can't see playing this card.
Yeah, but I think Seth is only saying that because he's trying to downplay it from taking over Commander. Because look at it, it shuts off Soul Sisters.
Yeah, that's my.
I will
that's my
say,
fear.
opponents not gaining life is actually like pretty decent, but it also like angers people, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it does.
They're not gonna try to gain life into this, but they're gonna be like, "Oh, come on!" And then they're gonna like murder you because you have a 1/4 for your commander.
Yo, you laugh, but just wait. Commander Clash, I'm gonna mass such a big orc.
All right, Grishnak, Brash Instigator, 3 mana 1/1 Goblin Soldier uncommon. When it ETBs, amass orcs 2. When you do until end of turn, gain control of target non-legendary creature and opponent controls with power less than or equal to the amassed army's power. Untap that creature. It gains haste until end of turn. Grishnak, D's across the board. Tomer a little higher at the C, but D average.
Tomer's definitely a little high.
The little threaten effect.
No.
on your commander?
No,
No.
I don't.
I will say this will get you killed. Like, I think this should be like F, because when someone has a scary commander and they see you have a big amass orc and they see this in your command zone, that's like very frightening.
Is
So-
it though?
You can't even steal a commander. It's not specifically non-legends.
Yeah.
Like it
It's
is like
specifically
built to
non-legend?
be
Oh, no.
incredibly bad in commander. Yeah,
Yeah. What timeline do you think this is taking off in?
that would be too good. OP.
I was just like having your combat trick be revealed to the table is not good, but this
Yeah.
combat trick is just not
Also not good.
not a good one.
You are representing a threaten, and it doesn't hit legendaries.
All right. We got some spicy birds coming up. Okay.
Here we go.
I don't even. How do you pronounce the bird's name? Gwaihir?
It's Gwaihir, I think.
Gwaihir, greatest of the eagles. 5 mana, 5/5, bird noble, flying. Whenever it attacks, target attacking creature gains flying until end of turn. At the beginning of each end step, if you gain 3 or more life, create a 3/3 white bird creature token with flying. And when this creature attacks, target attacking creature gains flying until end of turn. 2 C's and 2 B's, averaging out to a B.
This isn't that bad, right? Richard, you're the bird guy. Come on.
This is bad, man.
this isn't-
Why are
this
you
isn't
playing
a-
a deck
I
that
mean-
has like half flyers and half non-flyers so that your flyers can jump the non-flyers?
But
It's
you
like
got to make
No.
more.
you just ignoring that
flyers.
ability altogether.
Yeah.
You're looking at it wrong. It's a life gain commander. It's horrible as a bird's commander. You don't want to try to build
Is it
bird
the horse
tribal
better
with
though?
it. The
Bill?
Crested Sunmare, like literally just makes 5/5 horses, and then
But they don't
they're
fly.
indestructible as well.
And well,
They don't
more
fly.
importantly, Sunmare is not legendary, so you can't play it as your commander. But if you want to build something like a Crested Sunmare deck, this is a good option. Like, gain some life, you only got to crack 1 food to trigger it, so it kind of plays on the theme of the food from the set. So I think it's like a fine mono white life gain commander. You wouldn't play it as a bird. Would you even play this in birds? Like, how do birds gain
Because
life?
who you
Like, it
can-
doesn't really
you can
work with
jump
the bird
fledgling
thing, right?
osprey. That's what you can do. You
Well,
can give
okay.
them
Yeah, you can
things.
jump your soul sisters. You jump your soul sisters, chip in for 1 as you're gaining life. Oh, seems good.
What is
It's
it,
also
Lunark?
really expensive. It's 5 mana, so you got to pay 5 mana and then start doing your engine thing to make more birds. So it's kind of slow. So I
It's
don't-
Birder Blossom, right? Isn't that just how
It
this
is.
works?
It is nice that it's each end step. So you can be making up to 4 birds each turn cycle, like if you have a way to gain life and instant speed. So I don't think it's that bad.
That's the Soul Sisters part of you. I'll let it pass.
Yeah, that might be true.
I don't know about this.
Seth, your soul sisters are showing. You need to calm down.
Okay, Gwaihir the Windlord. 6 mana Azorius 4/4. This spell costs 2 less to cast as long as you've drawn 2 or more cards this turn. Flying Vigilance. Other birds you control have Vigilance.
Okay, this has to slap for birds, right?
This is like the worst bird
is the
legend
worst
of all time, right?
bird
By a
they've ever
significant
made, period,
margin.
baby.
Yeah.
Wait,
So
but
we gave
other
it a D.
birds you control have it's 6 mana. Yeah, I gave that's
Yeah,
why I gave
it's-
it. That's why I gave
It's
it a D.
4 mana if you've drawn 2 or more cards, and then it's like Sarah Angel that gives your team Vigilance.
That's sick.
Only if you play all birds.
Richard, you're not gonna play this in your birds deck.
I'm gonna play it,
Fledge.
but I'm not gonna pretend it's good. It's just funny.
Is it even funny? Maybe it's funny.
You're like, I can only pick up drafts uncommons from the left
No one-
pile, and this is the commander deck I can build.
No one will expect it. Just like the movies, they're like losing the battle, and then boom, out of nowhere, eagles, and they're like, "Huh, eagles? Where'd those come from?" So it's on flavor.
Okay. Haldir, Lorien Lieutenant, X Green, 0/0, legendary creature, Elf Soldier, ETBs with X +1/+1 counters on it. It has Vigilance, 6 mana until end of turn. Other elves you control gain Vigilance and get +1/+1 for each +1/+1 counter on Haldir. C's across the board for us.
This is a really good 99 card. Like, I would play this in the 99 in my elf decks. I think it works really well there. It's a good backup finisher. Elves is just such a long supported tribe in Magic that there's a lot of really good legends. And I think this it's like a filler level legend for me for an elf deck.
I agree. Right? Like there's just I don't know. This is actually a pretty bad as I read it, I think it's actually getting worse as an elven commander.
Yeah,
I mean, that
there are lots of
activated ability
cards
is a lot of
that
damage.
have real abilities and also like an overrun on them. Like Kamal or like those type of cards. Like there are lots of them, so there's nothing particularly special about this unless you just like Haldir. Okay, Iorith of the Healing House, 3 mana 1/4, human cleric, legendary. Tap, untap another target permanent. Tap, untap 2 other target legendary creatures. So B's across the board with a D for Seth. And I think I know where we're going with this. I gave it a B because I'm like, surely there must be a combo in here. Like, surely there is a combo. I don't know what the combo is, but you must be able to do a combo with this card. Untapping 2 other legendary creatures seems very powerful. And I think Seth has looked at all the combos and they don't exist.
Yeah, Seth, is there a combo?
I have not found a great combo for it. There's some like freed from the real shenanigans where you need like freed from the real on this plus something else that can untap and you can like use freed from the real to untap your commander. I don't know where it really gets you. Like you just kind of like tap and untap things a bunch of times. So no good combos for it. There's some pretty bad 3 to 4 piece combos, but nothing that I think is like really exciting to build around.
What about a self-mill combo and then Euthas's Oracle?
I mean, I guess if you had like Mesmeric Orb with
Yeah,
some of the
yeah.
untap combos, you'd mill your
Yeah.
entire deck. So
You're getting
I don't
it. You're picking it up. That's
yeah,
like
yeah,
as
we're
a
doing it.
commander, this is a combo piece, right? I feel like there's got to be a combo piece, and the comment section will probably know it instantly. But like, maybe it's a self-mill combo, yeah, with like Mesmeric Orb.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't take a lot to break it. And also, it just acts as like a mana dork as well, right? Because you can just untap a land. So in the meantime, it actually ramps you.
Yeah, it's a flexible combo piece. You kind of like that.
It's got to be good, right, Seth? No?
I
you
don't
just
know.
need another legendary creature that can untap. And then you can go, quote unquote, infinite. And then you need a third combo piece to do something useful. Or mesmeric.
Yeah.
To
So.
do anything useful.
I mean, it's. I guess it would be fun to build around. It would be fun to build around and try to find the combos for it. I'll give it that.
All right. Seth, this is your favorite card. King
This
of the
card's sweet.
Oathbreakers. 4 mana, 3/3. It's the ghost people, Seth. It's Orzhov.
The ghost people.
They're here.
Flying. When King of the Oathbreakers or another spirit you control becomes a target of a spell, it phases out. Whenever King of the Oathbreakers or another spirit you control phases in, create a tapped 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. 2 A's and 2 B's, averaging out to an A.
This is one of the most interesting commanders from the set, I think. Not only is it the ghost people, which obviously important to the movies, but it's kind of like a Orzhov Feather style commander, like phasing out your team, lets you dodge removal spells. It's going to be hard to kill. It kind of snowballs really slowly. I think this card's cool. I think this is actually one of the commanders I would like to build from the set the most.
This card is just powerful, right? As a commander, like you're constantly able to just phase stuff out. Like it just has to be a target of a spell and it phases out. That's kind of nuts. And then whenever it or another spirit you control phases out, you get another spirit. So you kind of just keep spawning bodies. How is this not sick?
I'm going to give it a C. I'm going to give it a C. I'll explain to you why. I opened this in one of my drafts and I totally flunked out of that draft. Here's the problem with King of the Oathbreakers. So Feather has an effect like when you cast, something happens, right? You use cards that cantrip to trigger that ability, and then you get another card and you just keep doing it. Since King of the Oathbreaker phases things out, your spell fizzles, right? So you can't do the same shenanigans, and you're playing all this weird targeting stuff that does nothing, literally. It's literally you're turning your spell into make a 1/1 white spirit creature with flying. So it's not as impressive as it sounds, because you're I'll just do the feather thing, combo off and go nuts. But actually, you spent a lot of mana to make a 1/1 white spirit creature with flying.
You're not thinking...
gonna waste your Teferi's protection just to phase out your team to make tokens. It's actually quite awkward in practice when you actually try to make this card do something useful.
You're not thinking big picture. You pack the deck with a bunch of Doom Blades, and then you target itself. Dude, okay, maybe not Doomblade because you can't target this, but you know what I mean.
Save you
but
from yourself.
Go for the throat, you phase it out, and that go for the throat can also be spot removal for your opponent's stuff.
So it's raise the alarm, but you only make one creature, and it's also tapped, which is also a big deal because you can't.
Look, I could live with that.
You can't make a blocker on demand if you want. The spirit comes into play tapped when it phases back in.
Is it good enough with just mass phase out spells like the Teferi's Protections, Guardian of Faith? We're getting more and more of those. Is it good enough as a Orzhov Spirit Commander if you ignore its ability? And its ability is just removal protection. Your opponent can't Doomblade it for multiple reasons, but they can't kill it because they can't actually target it. Is that good? No? Not good enough? Because you get a spirit for each thing that phases in, right? So if you play 4 spirits and this, and they all come back in, you're getting 4 more spirit tokens, and then you do it again, and you're getting double that the next time. It keeps
How many mass
multiplying.
phasing spells do we actually have? And aren't you trying to use them to save your team? So
I want to say
offensively use all of them, right?
You know what would be
there's maybe
good?
5.
If you can build, maybe as a commander this would be rough, because if you could find a way to make it Mardu, you could play Nahiri's Resolve, and then every end step you phase out.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, they have not printed the Change My Commander's Color Identity card yet, but if they ever do, look out.
Yeah, that's the problem. If this were in Mardu, you would have that. But yeah, no, I mean,
it's also a little awkward as a spirit commander because you don't get blue. There's enough black and white spirits to build it, but blue is probably the strongest spirit color too. So I bumped it down to a B, but I still think it's a cool card.
I got a question, Seth. Did the ghost people fly?
No, they were ground bound, I think.
Yeah, why are
well,
flying spirit tokens here?
That's because they didn't have a chance to take the battle.
Favor
to the
flail.
Air. I actually I'll downgrade this to a B as well. But I just, man,
I still think it's cool.
It has to be kind of good, right?
Honestly, I had not thought through the fizzling out of the spells until you mentioned that, which that is a pretty
That
big
was
deal,
the saddest first pick draft in my life. I'm like, this card is useless.
I quite literally thought about just building it with a bunch of Doom Blades, so that way I could blow.
I mean, you save yourself. You don't waste your random spells on your guy because it can't be targeted.
No, but like you can think about that. You get to the flexibility. I can then Doom Blade
spending
you
2 mana to make a 1/1 tapped flyer.
that could phase out though.
All right. We still got birds here. We got Landrival, Horizon Witness, 5 mana, 3/4 flying. Whenever 2 or more creatures you control attack a player, target creature without flying gains flying until end of turn.
These birds keep getting worse. I didn't know it was possible, but
Why
they somehow keep making them
this
worse and
bird a
worse. Yeah.
They don't make birds like how they used to, huh, Richard?
No,
It's no fledgling osprey, that's for sure.
not
Although
good.
it can give fledgling osprey flying, Richard. It's a good way to actually get in the air.
Only
with your
if 2
bird,
or more
Oh
creatures
my
under
God.
control attack a player, though.
Wait, so that means Guahir or whatever was actually like playable because you were like, why would you play non-flyers in a bird?
More playable. Okay, we got a good character. We got Legolas. Okay, we got three of them. We have an uncommon. It's Simic, 4 mana, 2/3 reach. When you scry, if Legolas is tapped, you may untap it. Do this only once each turn. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Legolas. D's across the board.
Yes,
Except
this
Tomer
is
a little high with a C. What is this tapped ability? Like,
Non-existent.
it does nothing,
like-
right? Like, it
like,
doesn't
yeah.
do anything for the card. You have to like do something to make it work, right?
Yeah, I guess you attack and then you get pseudo vigilance. You cast your Serum Visions afterwards and untap it and got
Is
them.
that? Oh God, no! This
I mean,
isn't even
instant
good in a
speed.
99.
You
Like,
your
can't-
opponent attacks you, and then you opt to instant speed and untap it, and haha! I have a 2/3. Look out!
Hey, that.
It's-
Oh, you're right.
It's just bad, right?
He's good at picking off birds.
What if you one-sided Wrath? You could grow them. What if you like Azuri's Predation or something and like just like pluck off a bunch of creatures? Then he gets a bunch of +1/+1 counters.
Yeah, that's
help?
true.
Is that even good?
I feel like you needed to do the Goblin Sharpshooter thing here, and
Yeah.
you need some pieces to do that because every time you kill something, it grows in power and then untaps, and then you. Oh wait, only once each. Never mind. There's
Yeah,
only
I
once
think
each turn
if they
clause on it.
removed once each turn, this would actually be like, I guess, playable somewhere, maybe, right?
I don't even know if that would do it. Like, at least then you'd have combo potential. Maybe you could
Right.
maybe find a way to build a combo deck with it.
We're gonna go back to self mill.
as it is though, like wow, I don't even know why. Does it even need that restriction? They went so safe on this card.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, this is not the cool Legolas I remember from the movies. So we'll move on to the next one. Greenleaf, 3 mana, mono green, 2/2. Reach can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Whenever another legendary creature ETBs under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Legolas. And when he deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. D's across the board again. C for Tomer, but D average. This
I think like
can't be chump blocked, but can be blocked with
Yeah.
bigger things. It grows very
Yeah, it only-
big and draws a card. It reminds me of Oakham Adversary that we said.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, it kind of
adversary though at
is.
least would cost 2 at some points, I guess.
That's 3 mana. It has reach.
And
Yeah.
didn't it have Death Touch? I
Yeah,
feel like
Oakham-
that was
Oakham
part of the
Adversary had
upside
Death
of
Touch.
Adversary. Like this, it only can be blocked by things that kill it, which is, or like can theoretically kill it, which is kind of awkward. Would you play in the 99 of like a Legends deck, or is it even?
Of a Legolas.
I'm on the fence if I
Legolas
play in the
themed
99.
deck, yes.
I think yeah, of a Legolas themed deck, yes. Otherwise, I think there's just so many better legends, right? This is just I don't know, if you like Legolas, this is a cool thing to see, I guess.
Okay, this one's better than. I actually don't know. So the Simic one is also like pretty garbage, but you get access to blue. So maybe, maybe
Yeah.
that just makes it better. Okay,
Yeah, Legolas low rolled. All of the Legolas.
fear
low
not.
rolled.
There's
Pretty
one more
meh.
Legolas in case you're a Legolas believer here. So Master Archer, 3 mana, 1/4, reach. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Legolas, put a +1/+1 counter on him. Whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you don't control, Legolas deals damage equal to its powered up to 1 target creature. C's across the board, Tomer with the B here. So Tomer's always one up on the Legolas. He must love...
I think he likes Legolas, and that's just why. This has got to be just because he likes Legolas.
So this one, you play fight spells, and they double up as like a 2-for-1, right? Because you get to fight twice, or you just play like literally like feather type spells on other stuff, and then you have them kill the whole board. That has potential.
You have to target your opponent's stuff, right? To get the last mode.
Yeah. That targets a
creature
you don't control.
Yeah, so you...
That's a little tricky.
I mean, don't most of the cantrips just target any creature? There are a bunch of cantrips.
There's a bunch of... In green? Really?
I thought I looked at this, because I was actually trying to build a Legolas deck.
That aren't just outright like giant growth?
So, no. I mean, so giant growth... So what you do is you give Legolas Death Touch.
Okay, yeah.
And it's not a fight. It deals damage, right? So it doesn't matter how big the other thing is. And then there are a bunch of like cantrippy spells you can use to target. And then also any fight spell is a 2-for-1 as well. And then you just like build up Legolas like that. And then just like one-shot people after like mowing down the board. It's a lot of setup. I'm not sure if this works. You're foiled by 1 Doomblade.
You mean my King of Oathbreakers deck?
The Death Touch seems huge, because my first impression was like, 1/4 is not that good at fighting.
Need to give
like,
it
how is this actually? So you got to give it Death Touch and also indestructible, probably, so you can fight big things.
They don't fight. You're biting. You're biting.
Okay.
So you don't need to survive, or you're not taking damage.
You need
so
the Death Touch.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems fun to build around. I don't know if it's actually super strong, but you could build a deck around it, which is more than I can say for the other 2 Legolases. I don't even know if you can really build a realistic deck around the other 2. So
this is definitely better than the other 2. I just don't. Yeah, I don't see how this. This one seems very tough to keep around.
Now, I'm not up to date on my Lord of the Rings power rankings, but isn't Legolas like one of the like most favorite characters? And why did they give him such bad cards? Really? Legolas a mana dork if you see more play.
No, I think that he's like probably one of the more popular like elves, I guess, but still pretty low actually, because if you think all the other elves, they're more popular than he is, right?
I don't know if they really correlated character popularity with card power, because weren't we seeing the same thing about Gandalf last podcast? We're like, wow, this is like the most iconic character, but all of his cards are like average to bad.
But at least he did like really cool things and like could be
that's true.
But like Legolas seems just bad.
Legolas is just happy to be invited.
All right. Lobelia, Defender of Bagan, 3 mana 2/2, legendary creature, halfling citizen. It's mono black. When an ETBs, look at the top card of each opponent's library and exile those cards face down. Sacrifice an artifact, tap, choose one. Until end of turn, you may play a card exiled with Lobelia without paying its mana cost, or each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Oh, we're all over the place here. We got A from me, C from Seth, D from Krim, C from Tomer. Is this?
Maybe D is a bit low. Maybe it's a bit low, but like I'm sorry, I don't see why this card is like
I think you're reading off someone's deck. No,
I think you're reading the wrong rankings. Actually, I think you're reading the other Lobelia, because I have it at a B. Krim has it as a C.
You have it as a A. Okay. So a C for Krim, B from Seth and Tomer, Richard A.
Yeah. I mean, this card seems fun. Like, you do need some setup. You gotta have an artifact on the battlefield. It needs to live for a turn to activate. And then Commander decks are a lot of lands, so you're not guaranteed to get anything good with its ETB trigger. It's not like a tally or something where you spin into hit non-lands or something. So it's got a little bit of the Chaos Warp issue where, like, it's really high variance. When it works out, it can be absurd. It can be, like, ridiculously powerful. But then there's also going to be times you run this out and do all the setup and you hit, like, land, mana dork, and you're just like, oh, what am I even doing here? So it's, I think it's very high variance, right?
Hold on. Yeah, this is. Hold on. This.
So
Okay, as a commander, this is like a
something
D.
back to the top, but not in black.
Yeah, this is
But
a D as a commander.
In practice, what happened was we casted this on Commander Clash. It was extremely scary because you don't know what's on the top of everyone's library. And I think it was Tomer who had this card, had to bargain and be like, I'm only taking a land, and I'm taking a land. Don't murder me. I'm taking a land, because we didn't know what was on top, and it was like super scary.
But
So
that was in the 99, not as his
that was
commander.
99. But it's a very scary card that people will just remove because they don't want to deal with like this random card coming off the top that could be, omniscience for all we know, right? We don't know, right? Like if Phil is at the table, someone casts Lobelia, like we're all quivering, right? Like, we don't know what that is. Could be blatant thievery sitting there.
I would rather have the 1/4 dude that's a Chaos Wand. Right? Because at least I know for a fact that I will hit a spell. Right? Unless you're an all creature deck.
I mean, you will hit a card. It just may be a land.
Yeah,
Just like
yeah,
you may
but like
hit
it may be a
Painful
land.
Truths
It may
off
be...
the 1/4 guy.
I mean, yes, the odds of me hitting Painful Truths, they're non-zero, but like I think I would choose that over like this as a commander, and you get access to a second color. I think this as a commander actually is a D. This is either a high D or a low C. I don't see why this would be good as your commander. 99? Right. Okay.
Okay, I give you a B. I'll go down to a B.
Right, like A? A, yeah.
A is too much. A is because you need to like basically untap, right? Because you need to tap it. All right, next up we have Lobelia Sackville Baggins, 3 mana, mono black, 2/3 flash menace. When it ETBs, exile target creature from an opponent's graveyard that was put there from the battlefield this turn, then create X treasure tokens, where X is the exiled card's power. Okay, this is when we're all across the board. D from Krim, C from Seth, Richard A, C from Tomer, averaging out to okay, wait, okay, we're all C's now, and then Richard A. Okay, hear me out, guys. Is this not Dockside Extortion? Like just late game? You just do nothing. You wait a bit, some big creature dies, you flash in Lobelia, and then you just make like 10 mana, and then you untap and win the game? Like no?
I mean, like, I don't think you're misunderstanding. That is a thing that could happen. I mean, Dockside just does that in the early game and without any setup or without your opponent needing to have a big creature. So there's like, I don't think it's on the same level as Dockside, but I think though, to me that screams 99 card. Like playing this in the 99, you wait, you flash it in, you get this big thing. I don't know if I want my commander to be a card where I have to wait until turn 10 and hope for all these things, my opponent to do all these things for it to be powerful. But in the 99, it seems sweet. Like, so I guess I view it more as a 99 card than a commander personally.
Yeah, this is definitely just a 99. It doesn't do enough as a commander.
You guys. 10? Like imagine a Galta dies.
Good.
Did you just
Revel
in
Riches? Maybe it's the best Revel in Riches commander. You just like play this Revel in Riches, tutor it up. You're in black, so you can demonic tutor it. Yeah.
You can Toxic Deluge and Lobelia for 6 mana. Like you can do it yourself. Yeah. You can play your favorite spot removal, Doomblade, and then Lobelia, and just make so much mana. It's unbelievable. I think you guys are underrating it.
It's also like Graveyard Hate for reanimation, sort of, right? Or no? Yeah. It's got to leave the battlefield this turn? Okay.
No, it has to be when it ETBs, and then you just like exile a specific thing.
But it has to be a creature that went to the graveyard this turn.
From the battlefield.
Yeah,
from the battlefield.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Lord of the Nazgul, 5 mana, 4/3 flying. Dimir, rates you control have protection from ring bearers. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a 3/3 black wraith. With menace. Then if you control 9 or more race you control have base power and toughness 9/9 until end of turn. B's across the board. This is the best Wraith commander, right? It's very
if you want a Nazgul, this is the commander, and it's like a cool Spellslinger commander. Like if you just want to play Dimir Spellslinger, like it's fine at that too.
Yeah, and it just feeds itself. It's like one gigantic young pyro for wraiths, so I love it.
All right, Lotho. Corrupt Sheriff. Orzhov 2-drop. It's a 2/1. Whenever a player casts their second spell each turn, you lose 1 life and create a treasure token. We got 2 Bs, a C, and an A from Tomer. So averaging out to a B. Is this just like permanent ramp? You just play it and then you just make treasure. Is it like Smothering Tide in the command zone? Is that what this is?
I kind of like it.
What is the other enchantment? Isn't there an enchantment, Smuggler's Share or something that's like exactly this ability? I feel like there's a 3-mana enchantment that's like the second spell, make a treasure. I might have the wrong name for it though. Like I feel like it's potentially powerful. I don't think you're getting a treasure every turn, but I think opponents will mostly just keep playing their spells. They're not going to cast their spells to not give you the treasure. So I think it will make a decent amount of treasures.
Yeah. And it comes down super cheap, like super early. This is just a 2-mana, 2/1 commander, right? You will have it. Whereas like the one you're talking about is like a 3-mana enchantment that isn't in your command zone. You will always have access to this.
But it's also kind of all it does is ramp.
Yeah. I mean, that is its purpose, to just poop out treasures, and then you're going to try to do something big with it.
All right. Maher, Uruk-hai Captain. Rakdos 2-drop 2/2, uncommon menace, legendary orc soldier. If one or more +1/+1 counters we put on an army, goblin, or orc you control, put that many +1. Okay, put that many, and then an additional +1/+1 counter are put on it instead. So I can't remember what the name of the card is. The 1-mana, green.
Scales.
Hardened scales.
Hardened scales.
Yeah,
Hardened scales. There we go. So it doesn't double; it just adds an additional. So when you amass or something, you get additional power. D's across the board. Nothing too special here. These legendary orcs, all uncommons, are not really doing anything, but they're all great 99. If you stick them all together in the 99, they add up together and do something. Oh, we have another sad-faced bird. Meneldor, Swift Saber. 4-mana, 3/3, flying. It's a bird, it's mono blue. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, exile up to one target creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under your control.
This is like the saddest bird and the saddest Brago of all time.
Yeah.
Like, Brago is the same mana and it blinks everything every turn.
At least it does something. Like blinking a creature does something as opposed to jumping a non-flyer, right?
This is like actually
Ball Drifter. This could be anything. So
wait, do birds have anything that you want to flicker or bounce or anything at all?
You wouldn't put in a bird deck because birds really don't have ETBs. But you could flicker like literally any other card in Magic, and it's like serviceable. So
this is a terrible commander, though.
I gave it a C. It could do something. It's not horrendous.
No, dude, it's pretty.
It's a C. It's a C. D is the really bottom tier, and that's reserved for the stone unplayables. Meriadoc, Brandybuck, 2-mana green, 2/2, legendary creature, halfling citizen. Whenever one or more halflings you control attack a player, create a food token. Food generator?
Yeah.
But not as good as like the other food generators, so 99 card?
Yeah.
We gave it a
exactly. C. Yeah, play it in Farmer Cotton or with Sam or whatever. Like, it's great in the 99 of those decks.
Yeah, it also cuts you off from the other colors that the other food commanders would give you. Mary Esquire of Rohan, red and a white. So 2-mana Boros, 2/2, legendary creature, halfling knight, haste. It has first strike as long as it's equipped. Whenever you attack with Mary and another legendary creature, draw a card. C's across the board. I'm sorry, is this not better than C? Like it draws a card, has haste.
Whenever you attack with Mary and another legendary
so you have to attack
creature,
with 2. It has to be a Boros legendary matters. You draw a card.
Yeah, and that's all you get.
There's so many Boros equipment commanders that like draw cards in one way or another. I think the legendary matters twist is interesting, which keeps it from being a D to me, but there's just so many options if you want to play this, something similar to Mary.
All right. Okay. How about Selesnya Mary? Warden of Isengard, 3-mana 1/4. It partners with Pippin. Whenever one or more artifacts enter the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token with lifelink. This ability triggers only once each turn. We're divided here. We got a C, a D, and 2 Bs to average out to a C.
Once each turn, nothing to turn me off a card faster, pretty much. There's very few cards that rock that text and I love. Like legitimately is a handful. So
okay, we gotta evaluate. I think Pippin with it, right? Because they're partners.
Yeah.
So Pippin
They're always
is
gonna be
Golgari 2-drop 2/2. You can pay 1 tap, create a food token, and then tap, sacrifice 4 foods. Other creatures you control get +3/+3 and gain haste until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. So you basically make a bunch of foods. The foods make soldiers, and then you overrun.
Yeah, haste them up and
example.
yeah.
if we're combining the two, then Mary is a little bit better because then you have Pippin and then the curve into Mary, right? Like I sure. If we're doing that, then like Mary's not a D for me. Mary will be a C.
Yeah, I think they're like a fine kind of like self-contained army. Like like Richard said, you make the tokens and you pump the tokens. I think you always play them as the partner pairing. I think they definitely deserve to be the backup partner pairing. Like you have Frodo and Sam in the same colors that also kind of care about food. And I think they're definitely like the backup pairing, which is probably a flavor win for the Lord of the Rings movie. So it's hard for me to imagine wanting to play them over Frodo and Sam if I buy the precon as my commanders, but they're fine. Like they're fine. They try.
Right, check this curve, Seth. Let me see if I can change your mind. Pippin into Mary into Smothering Tithe.
Ooh.
Smothering Tithe gives you a treasure every turn. You get a 1/1, so you get 4 1/1 life linkers. And then you can untap.
Okay.
And then like haste them all or something, overrun them,
Okay.
hit people.
Okay.
And then white has plenty of Smothering Tithe like cards, right? Like not like
Sure.
Even the like Lotho we were just talking about would trigger this. It's in the right colors. So
Then
you
you
broke
play
Smothering Tithe,
Mondrak.
Richard. You did.
Yeah.
I broke Smothering Tithe. You're welcome.
Mondrak. These cards are finally good.
All right. Monstrosity of the Lake. 5 mana 4/6 legendary creature Kraken. When it ETBs, you may pay 5 mana. If you do, tap all creatures your opponent controls, then put a stun counter on each of those creatures, and it has island cycling for 2, which means you can discard this card and put an island, get an island from your library.
I feel like having land cycling is a dead giveaway of Wizards being like, please don't play this as your commander. We did not make this to be your commander. Listen to us, please, people buying our products. Don't do it. Don't do it.
You have to pay 10 mana, assuming that it hasn't died yet, to tap your opponent's stuff down.
Tomer really liked. Tomer gave us a
though.
B. We all gave it C's and D's. Tomer gave it a B, so we
Tomer-
averaged out to a C.
Tomer-
I'm not sure why he likes it because for 10 mana, that's like a lot. Just to stun your opponent's team. Like
Homer's in a different
cast
dimension.
Sleep. Like sleep would do what he's trying to do, right?
It is a ETB though, so if you blink it, it can be
Like, you have
keep
to
your
pay 5
opponent's
again.
team like down permanent. This plus like Thassa that blinks every turn. Like, don't you just kind of lock your opponent's creatures out forever? Like, I could see there being blink shenanigans.
Oh,
if
it's
we're
all
speaking to this
opponents.
card.
Okay.
Yeah. So you just keep your opponent tapped down forever by blinking this every turn and paying 5, and eventually you find a way to win. Island cycle your way to victory.
I wanted like, Winter Orb. Like I don't know. I mean, is this cool? Would you be okay with someone doing this to stacks you out of the game and you're like, that's not stacks, that's fine.
I mean, I don't think it stacks.
If you're gonna do that, yeah, I think that's fine. If you give me Monstrosity of the Lake, I'll take it.
Yeah.
All right, Old Man Willow, 4 mana Golgari. Legendary creature, Tree Folk, star, power, and toughness. It's equal to the number of lands you control. Whenever Old Man Willow attacks, you may sacrifice another creature or a token. When you do, target creature and opponent control gets -2/-2 until end of turn. D, we gave it a D here. Nothing particularly special. I mean, I
It's
guess
a
if you have a lot of
Tree Folk.
lands, it's big, but it doesn't have trample or evasion or anything. So it's just like,
You get to play
Yeah.
as a tree. That's literally the big upside here. You are a tree.
Okay,
That is the upside.
Peregrine Took, 3 mana, mono green. He's a 2/3. Legendary creature, halfling citizen. When one or more tokens will be created under your control, those tokens plus an additional food token are created. Sacrifice 3 foods, draw a card.
So-
gave it C.
There's no way you want to play this as your commander, but this is one of the best 99 cards in the food deck. Like, the ability to turn your foods into cards is really, really powerful in a deck that can make a lot of food tokens. So one of my actually favorite sleeper cards from the set, but why would I play this when you have like Sam and like these multicolor food commanders? It's a really tough sell to play a mono.
Can you build mono green food? No, right? Like all the like payoffs are in the other colors.
You get like Feasting Troll King, I guess. Wicked Wolf. Some of the Eldraine stuff, I guess, you could add into the deck. But you really want to be multicolor for the food deck, I think. 2 or 3 colors.
Okay. Pippin, Guard of Citadel. 2 mana Azorius, 2/2, Vigilance, Ward 1. Tap. Another target creature you control gains protection from the card type of your choice until end of turn.
It's a mom.
Average.
But
Does this do anything?
Hey, I mean, it's a mom.
So if someone like pacifism, okay, you can. So you can knock off another creature's pacifism, right? By giving it protection from enchantments, you can. It's you control, so you can't knock off equipment of your opponent's creatures. Only your own creatures.
Right. I mean, you get through damage, protection from creatures. You can attack through blockers. You can block forever, like Mother of Runes, block and protect from creatures, knock off enchantment. So it does do things. Although, is it like spicy enough to be your commander? Like, I think this is a good card. Like, it's a good protection spell, but I kind of want I want my commander to be a build around, and this is kind of Mother of Runes, which is a great card, but like, how do you build around Mother of Runes?
I mean, maybe there's you have a really funny, flavorful, or janky combo you're just trying to protect, right?
Like your most important card is non-legendary, like say Crest and Sunmare or something. So
sure,
you can't put it in the command zone, but you can put it in 99 and then protect it with Pippin.
Okay, so it's like a good hidden commander, because you can protect your hidden commander that can't actually be your real. I can buy that. I actually like that. That's a cool idea.
Right? Or you just hit people with unblockable. You just give your creature protection for everything and just hit people, right? Just normal dirty creatures.
It is a really strong card. Like, the protection is really good.
Yeah.
All right. We did Warden of Isengard already. That was the partner with Mary. So we ended up at C average for Pippin. And then Prince Imrahil the Fair is Azorius 2-drop, 2/2 legendary creature human noble. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. D's. There's much better payoffs for the draw 2 a turn, right?
Yeah, this is a very good. I think this is a sweet 99 card, maybe in like the double draw kind of deck, right? If you play like a Jeskai double draw deck, but like otherwise, I don't think this is like good.
Yeah, I think it really pales in comparison to the Council of the Four, which is like, does that and a lot more. So I would definitely run this in the 99, but not as my commander.
All right, we've hit a stretch of mediocre cards. Hopefully, Quick Beam, Upstart Ent will save us. 6 mana, 5/6. Tree Folk legendary. Whenever Quick Beam or another Tree Folk enters the battlefield under your control, 2 target creatures get +2/+2 and gain trample until end of turn.
It's a quick no, dude.
I mean, you can get in some damage. You can get in some damage, that's for sure. But there's a lot of sweet Tree Folks. I really like the rare one from this set, Fingrin or whatever. Like that card.
Yeah,
I like that one.
All right, so Quick Beam, not too quick. Okay, Radagast. How about Radagast? Okay, 4 mana, 2/5 legendary creature, Avatar Wizard. When Radagast or another non-token creature ETBs under your control, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is that creature's mana value. You may reveal a creature card that doesn't share a creature type with a creature you control from among those cards and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So kind of on flavor. We gave it an A average here with 2 Bs and 2 As. So basically, it promotes you playing lots of different creature types. And then when you cast spells, you basically just get to draw a card.
I mean, it's good with Panharmonicon effects. Like, I really wish it was more than one color. That's the only thing I kind of like dislike about it. But it's a lot of value. Like, every creature you play is drawing you more creatures. You're snowballing through your deck. So I think this is actually like a pretty strong card. I'm also excited to play in like Yarok or whatever. But it's a strong commander too, I think.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be a sweet commander.
What I've learned is you guys do not like monocolor.
Yeah.
It needs more colors. It's 2 colors, it needs 3 colors. It's 3 colors, it needs 4 colors.
I need my Muldrifter, Richard. I need my Muldrifter. What am I even doing drawing creatures with Radagast?
Green. Green has everything you need. You don't need any more.
I mean, that is actually true, though, because it is mono green. But
okay.
No, like, Magic's just better with multiple colors in it.
Wizards heard you. So we have Simic Radagast. Okay, 4 mana, 3/5. Legendary creature Avatar Wizard, Ward 1. Beasts and birds you control have ward 1. Whenever you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater, choose one. Create a 3/3 green beast creature token or a 2/2 blue bird with flying. This is one of the first cards they previewed, I think. C. So by adding more colors, it got worse.
This essentially is a once per turn restriction. They just write it differently. I think the 5 mana value or greater restriction we've seen like several times recently, that's one of my least favorites because it really is just like you can't do this much, but it doesn't say that directly because how many 5 mana value spells can you possibly cast in a turn anyway? Like 1, right? Typically at most. So I feel like this is the hidden once per turn restriction, which it's still fine. Like you make a bunch of some birds, make some bees, whatever. But like it's you know, the restriction keeps it from being something that can really go off. I think. Is this a good birds commander, Richard? You get green for Toski.
You get ward.
You get ward.
Come on. So for 5 mana value, I can start casting the birds from Lord of the Rings. And then they come in with an additional
and make more birds.
Or no, they make the beast token and you can jump the beasts.
Jump the
Oh,
the birds
my
are
God.
white though. You're right. We need the additional color. It all makes sense now, Seth. I see.
Yeah, Richard has come around.
All right. Speaking of white, Rosy Cotton of South Lane, 3 mana mono white, 1/1, legendary halfling peasant. When it ETBs, create a food token. Whenever you create a token, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control other than Rosy. All right, so kind of does nothing. You make food tokens and you put +1/+1 counters. Is there a combo with Rosy?
There are janky combos like Rosy plus animation module plus Ashnod's Altar actually goes infinite. So I think it's kind of like that blue legend, the untap stuff. Like it's not a very powerful card, but if you want to build specific combos with it, there are ways that you can go infinite.
Okay, I like it. And then we have Sam, Loyal Tenant. This is the partner with Frodo. We've already talked about Frodo and Sam. So we gave Sam a B average. And then Sam's other card, well, actually has 2 more cards. So his Selesnya card is a 2 mana 2/2. It's just Samwise Gamgee. No title there. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, create a food token. Sacrifice 3 foods, return target historic card from your graveyard to your hand. A's. A average for Samwise Gamgee.
I mean,
so this is... Oh, go ahead, Grim.
Well, he's cheap. He's like solid, right? Like he's a solid 2 mana creature with a great ability. He's a great token generator.
This is a food commander. Like this is the it's what Lannis is for clues. This is for food, and that's a really powerful effect. Just making a food, like whatever, you don't care, it's only gaining 3 life, but there's so many synergies. We've talked about some of them in the sack. Cards that you'd want in the 99 of this, where you're sacking your food on the cheap, you're drawing cards as you gain life, you're making your food into treasures with Academy Manufacture, and plus that sack 3 foods to return something from your graveyard to your hand. That's pretty powerful because a lot of the cards in this set happen to be legendary, so a lot of the food stuff you're going to play with Sam is going to be historic, so you can get it back from your graveyard if something dies. So I really like this card. This is one of my favorites from the set.
So do you like Frodo Sam, or do you like Sam, I guess? So do you like the partner pairing as your commanders, or do you like the solo Samwise here?
Frodo Sam's got to be cooler though, right? Because you get to play bats and you get to do all that other stuff.
Frodo Sam might be cooler and definitely more flavorful. I think that Samwise Gamgee, though, is like more powerful, I would say. Like, I think you can build a really strong deck around it.
Okay. And there is no once per turn clause here, so you can just go nuts. Samwise the Stout-Hearted, mono white, 2/1, 2 mana. Flash, whenever Sam ETBs up to 1 target permanent card in your graveyard that was put there on the battlefield this turn, return it to your hand, then the ring tempts you. So you get
That's straight up Sean Astin on the card.
You get to regrowth something with the time restriction. So D average, nothing here, even though Sam is a modern playable card. Bringing back Ghost Quarters.
Yeah.
So strip mine Tomer, flash in Sam as your commander, get back the strip mine Tomer. GG.
And the ring tempts you. You get to keep doing it. It's modern all-star Samwise the Stout.
Yeah.
I feel we mock these like one-time effects, but I actually feel that they might actually be strong. You know CDH, how they play like Rogak just to enable a Mox Amber, and that's it. Like the command zone is utterly useless, and they're just using it for some utility. I could see an instant speed regrowth or like Lobelia, like the treasure maker. Like your command zone is basically useless, but just sitting there as utility until you need it.
Or yeah, like you combo, you get back your whatever Lion's Eye Diamond, some combo piece. There actually probably is some potential for this card being pretty competitive. It's not very flashy and fun and casual, though. Like, if you want to do big, like, casual commander things, this isn't really that style of card, but CDH, I could see it being kind of good.
It needed to be a partner so you could Jewel Lotus, flash it, get back Jewel Lotus, and then cast your real commander.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
And then all you
God.
can do here is just, like, loop Sams or something. All right. Saradoc, Master of Buckland. 4 mana, 2/4, legendary creature, halfling citizen. When it or another non-token creature with power 2 or less ETBs create a 1/1 white halfling creature token. ETBs under your control, that is. And then tap 2 other untapped halflings you control. Saradoc gets +2/+0 and gains a lifelink until end of turn. D average here.
This
Why?
Couldn't
why?
it have,
Are there other
couldn't it have
cards? This
included
reminds me of some other
Kithkin?
card, which I can't remember what. But you just make a bunch of tokens and then you like tap them to power up the main one, and then try to
Yeah.
kill someone.
should it have included Kithkin, too? I feel like it's very narrow to halflings. Like, it only works with cards from this set and not the other 30 Years of Magic cards.
Would that fix
Wait, don't we
anything?
have other
No.
halflings in
There, I
We
guess
have-
there are a
so
few.
Dungeons
The-
and Dragons
the
halflings.
Dungeons and Dragons set.
Yeah, yeah.
Will count, but the Kithkin are actually Kithkin.
I mean, it's okay, I guess.
I don't know. It's just like it's so bland and it just doesn't do that much to me. So like, yeah.
You double up your halflings essentially, and then you gain a lot of life somehow.
So if you double them
just,
up,
like,
you get a
someone chump blocks your
Holding.
giant
Eh.
commander, and then you gain some life, and then that's it. All right. We got Saruman. So Saruman has 3 versions. So we'll start with the uncommon mono blue version. 5 mana 4/4 Ward 2. This is Saruman the White. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, amass Orcs 2.
horrible.
This is not it,
Unplayable.
right? This is
Unplayable.
No.
Yeah.
this is a C average here. We just-
Go next. GG
Go next.
Go
We
next.
gotta add. I mean, we add 2 more colors. Okay, we go to Esper, 6 mana, Saruman of many colors, 5/4. Ward, discard an enchantment, instant, or sorcery card. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, each opponent mills 2 cards. When 1 or more cards are milled this way, exile target enchantment, instant, or sorcery card with equal or lesser mana value than that spell from an opponent's graveyard. Copy the exiled card. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. So A across the board. So A average. So you basically mill everyone. And then you need to mill so you need to mill 1 or more cards, and then when that happens, you can exile an enchantment, instant, or sorcery card, and then you can cast it.
I had to message Richard about this because I'm like the wording
Yes.
on this card
This is like
it
the
hurts-
worst wording
The wording's
I've ever
pretty
seen on a
horrible.
card.
So,
it hurts
okay.
my head.
Basically, when you cast your second spell, you mill, and then you can exile something from a graveyard with mana value less than the spell you cast and cast it for free. So if you cast a 5 mana spell, you mill, and then exile something that's 5 mana or less, it's an instant sorcerer enchantment, cast it for free.
And the thing you
From-
cast doesn't
from
have to
the
be
pile that you
from
milled.
the pile milled. It could just be from the graveyard.
Just from
Okay.
any opponent's graveyard. It doesn't have to be the milled cards, yeah.
I mean,
This card's powerful, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's got a
yeah.
strong ward. It generates value. If you can somehow cast a second spell during your opponent's turn as well, this can be happening multiple times. The ability is going to be a little hit or miss unless you're playing a mill deck. Like, I don't think its mill 2 is really enough to make enough in your opponent's graveyard to make its other ability work, where you're going to have enough fuel to be casting free spells. But if you're willing to play some sort of body and minds or like other things to mill your opponents, then I think the card's actually pretty powerful, and the ward is going to make it tough to kill. Like, we've seen ward on Graveyard Trespasser in Standard, which is just discard any card, be pretty obnoxious. This is like discard a specific class of cards, and those cards are the cards you want in your opponent's graveyard. So if they do kill it, then they're putting something in the graveyard you can later steal.
It feeds into itself. This is a powerful card. Confusing as hell to read, but actually just very powerful. I love this card as a commander. It's a sweet one, and it's another reason to play Sword of Body in mine.
We have a Grixis one, the White Hand, 4 mana, 2/5. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, amass X orcs, where X is that spell's mana value, and goblins and orcs you control have ward 2. Bees across the board.
This card's not bad. It's pretty solid,
cast
right?
like a 6-drop.
Well, you don't even cast the 6-drop. You could just chain off a bunch of 1-drops, right?
I guess it's the same. It's just however much mana you spend.
However much mana you spend, basically. Yep.
It's just you get one real big amass orc token. It's kind of sweet.
It is. Although, like, amassing is normally worse than creating tokens, right? Because it's always going on the one. So I think that does power it down a little bit, but still, like, we've seen Calrand and other similar cards that just, like, reward you for casting non-creature spells. Vika is another one. They're really powerful effects, and this is relatively cheap to get on the battlefield at 4 mana. Like, that's competitively costed, and you're in 3 colors. So, yeah, it's a sweet spellslinger commander.
You probably throw, like, flings in your deck, right? Because then you just start flinging the big orc.
That's the other direction you can go, is like sack fodder, where you like cast a small spell, make a little orc, sack it to Ashnod's Altar or something to make more mana, then cast another spell and like kind of go that way. Because the amass tokens are really good sack fodder.
Like you just Phyrexian Altar or something. Like you just top off. Just keep sacking the creatures. You could have the bats.
Drain everyone.
Drain everyone like twice bats. On the way in and on the way out.
Oh man,
with bats, like people can be mad. All right, we got our big baddie Sauron here. We got 4 versions. Okay, this one's called Lord of the Rings. Surely this must be good, right? It's called Lord of the Rings itself. 8 mana, 9/9. Avatar Horror. Whenever you cast a spell, amass orcs 5, mill 5 cards, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Trample. When a commander and opponent control dies, the ring tempts you. Be average. We've actually seen it in action, Crim. How do you like Sauron? It's kind of like a cruel ultimatum or something sitting in your command zone.
But it's not, because like it's so expensive, dude. And on top of that, like, it's only on cast, so you have to cast this card. You can't reanimate it. You can't bring it back. You can, it just won't do the whole amass orcs 5 and the mill part. Like, you don't get to do all that. So if you're trying to be like get around that by by reanimating it, all you're getting is a 9/9 trample, which sounds big in numbers and is very Timmy, but like, I don't know. This one is just okay. Like, as a commander, like, I think it's okay. Compared to all the other precons, it's nowhere nearly as good. It takes 1,000 years to get to this one. So, I don't know. I think it's okay.
I mean, 8 mana is just a lot. Like, it's a really powerful effect. We saw that in practice on Commander Clash, like adding it to the power to the battlefield.
But it doesn't even
8 mana is just so much. And then if it dies, you got to do it again, and it's 10 mana and then 12 mana. So I think that keeps its power in check. It reminds me of like Lord Xander or Thraxamund, are these really big, powerful Grixis commanders that are just not super strong because it's hard to consistently cast a commander that costs 7, 8, 9 mana.
Well, if you want to, you talked about big Grixis commanders that aren't super strong. I think we go next, because the next one I think is very good.
All right, we got the Dark Lord, 6 mana Grixis, 7/6. Ward, sacrifice a legendary artifact or legendary creature. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, amass orcs 1. Whenever an army you control deals combat damage to a player, the ring tempts you. Whenever the ring tempts you, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw 4 cards. We got 2 S's and 2 B's, averaging out to an A. Crim, you have this as an S. Is this the hottest card in the set? What's so good about Sauron?
This card is is so hot, dude. Like, are you kidding me? That ward is absurd. If, like, yeah, sure, maybe your opponent spends X amount of mana to play their commander and then use their removal, sack their commander. Dude, you know how hard it is to remove this thing with spot removal? You have to board wipe this. Because on top of that, whenever an opponent casts a spell, you amass Orcs 1. Whenever your opponents do. And then lastly, at the end of all of that, you get to just start discarding your hand and drawing 4 cards every time the ring tempts you. Holy cow. That's so good. Like, just read these abilities and tell me that this is just not solid. These are just very strong abilities.
What? Have you seen Ishai, Ojitai Speaker, whatever? or Torin Mauler? Like, so the amass is like whenever your opponents cast a spell, you just like grow the thing. And then the ward is good. Okay, the ward is good. But shoot, this is a 6-drop though. And then your armies allow you to tempt yourself. And then when you like tempt enough, like when you tempt, you can discard your hand, draw 4. Like,
yeah,
it's okay. I mean, it's like solid, but nothing to write home about. No,
that's totally something to write home about. What are you talking about? I get to connect.
I guess
drop
okay. So if you
cards.
go empty-handed, then it's good, right? So
when you go empty-handed, right? Because like, let's be honest, you're gonna fire off a ton of spells, get as big of an orc as you can, refill. It's so good, dude.
It's a 6-drop though.
Yeah, it's a good 6-drop.
The orc does only grow from your opponent's spells. Not that that's like really matters, but I mean, I think this card's decent. Like, I think this is one of the strongest wards we've seen, although everything's legendary now. So I feel like it's a ward that reads busted, but it keeps getting weaker set by set. Cause we're talking about 120 legends in this set alone. So I think the legendary thing is like becoming less of a concern, but it is one of the most powerful wards. So it's going to be hard to kill. I think the refilling your hand mode is actually pretty solid. And remember, you can play other ring tempts you cards. So it's not like you have to get in with the army. You can play other cards that have the ring tempt you specifically to keep churning through your deck. So I think S is that's a little high for me, but I think it's like a solid B, like maybe a like low A, somewhere in that range.
This card is so sick. What? And that ward, even though there's a ton of legendaries, they're still taking the mana to spend that to cast that legendary, then sack it, and then spend a removal spell.
But if they did, you did 6 mana. You paid 6 mana and like amassed 1, right? Like it doesn't do anything ETB. Like that's the problem, right?
They would hypothetically, you would be amassing 2 first off because they play the creature, then they play the spell.
Oh, my bad.
That's sick as heck, dude. Are you kidding me? That's so cool.
I mean, the bigger issue is like a Wrath just kind of deals with it and the orc, and then it's 8 mana to recast. So if you're in a Wrath heavy play group, I think it gets a little bit worse. But against targeted removal, I think it's very strong.
All right, we got 2 more Saurons. So we have the Lidless Eye. So this is the Rakdos version. 5 mana 4/4. When it ETBs, you gain control of target creature an opponent controls until end of turn. Untap it gains haste. 3 mana, creatures you control get +2/+0 until end of turn. Each opponent loses 2 life.
At least this one can steal legends.
C's across the board. I gave it a B. I think that pumping ability is super underrated. Like 3 mana, pump your team 2 and drain 2 life to everyone. That's a lot of damage that can be coming in.
I mean, I like that. I like that part. The drain is attached to it. That's pretty nice, right? Like it's just, I don't know. I mean, I have 5 mana 4/4 where I pay 3 to pump and drain.
It's Zealous Conscripts kind of, except it's a creature.
If it's still a permanent, I would be on board. I would think it's fun.
It's fun that you can like steal and sack. Like that's probably how I would build around it. Like, and I think you're right. If you make a lot of mana, that last mode activated a few times a turn, you can drain people out of the game pretty quick. So maybe it's like a strong aggro commander. I don't know. The more we talk about it, the more I'm like coming around to it a little bit. Maybe it should be a B. Should probably be a B.
Yeah, that's right. Join the Dark Lord.
Right, I think you won me over.
The Necromancer, mono black, 5 mana 4/4, menace. When Sauron attacks, exile target creature from your graveyard. Create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 3/3 black wraith with menace. At the beginning of your next step, exile that token unless Sauron is your ring bearer. 2 B's and 2 A's, averaging out to an A. So this is in contention with the Dark Lord as the best Sauron here.
How though? How is this the best thing? What? This can't be the
It's
best.
so much more castable, and you get to reanimate things. Like you can just pull Garys out of your graveyard and things like that. No, and you get to keep them if you're the ring bearer.
It does need to attack. It really wants
Yeah.
haste. It's much, much better if you can give it
It needs
haste.
lightning
So I think
Greaves.
it does. Yeah, this is a great Greaves commander. I think this is just like a fun commander. The like repeated reanimation is cool. It's a Wraith. I don't know how the ring tempts you. You might have to actually build around it. It's also better if you get to keep the tokens. So I think that you could build a fun deck around it. I would build one.
I fully believe you could build a fun deck around it, but the best Sauron?
It's more consistent. How about that? The other Saurons have way higher upside.
The
but this
Dark
one is more
Lord is consistent. It sounds funny yelling out loud.
All right. Shadowfax, Lord of the Horses, 5 mana Boros, 4/4 legendary horse. Horses you control have haste. Whenever Shadowfax attacks, you may put a creature card with lesser power from your hand onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. Be average. This
If you
might
want to build
actually be like the
horses,
best uncommon commander we've had. In the set,
Yeah.
right?
yeah. If you want to build around horses, like it's pretty good. Like giving your team haste is pretty nice. So
Giving your horses haste.
you're a horse. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And you can just drop in. You can just drop in creatures in combat. Like, that's pretty good.
Yeah. They'd probably
Yeah.
be more horses, but
Drop in birds. You could do the horse bird deck
Birds
or
and
something.
horses.
Okay.
Okay. Shagrat Loot Bearer. 4 mana, Rakdos 4/4, legendary creature, Orc Soldier. When it attacks, attach up to 1 target equipment to it, then amass Orcs X, where X is the number of equipment attached to Shagrat. We have 2 Bs and 2 Cs, averaging to a B.
All right, two reasons I like this card. One, it's actually a Rakdos equipment commander, and there really aren't Rakdos equipment commanders. That's something somehow Wizards has never really made that before. So there's a million Boros ones. I like that this is a new color combination for the theme. Also, you can steal your opponent's equipment, which is kind of cool. Like, it doesn't say equipment you control, so you can like steal your opponent's swords and dowsing daggers and so forth. So I don't think it's like super busted, but if you want to build equipment but in Rakdos, I think this is actually just like legitimately the best option in all of Magic.
You would body a Boros equipment deck if you just steal all their equipments every time.
You would take 1 each
Yes.
turn.
Yeah, that's
Wait.
so good.
They can also re-equip it. You're not
Yeah.
gaining not gaining control of it.
Yeah,
You're just
No, you
using
get the
it.
equipping
Yeah.
it. Yeah, you're borrowing their equipment, and that on its own means they have to spend the mana to put it back.
Do I
That's
get
true.
the Lost Veil if I steal a Dowsing Dagger? I don't know how this is worded. Or does
It would
Ooh,
flip
I'd have to
and
read
then-
Dowsing Dagger.
It would flip and exile itself, and then return to its owner's control.
But it's not an exile. This is just a transform.
oh, is it a
Oh,
transform?
if it just transforms, then you're
Then yeah.
good. It'll transform under your control.
This is gross.
Yeah, you can steal the Dowsing Dagger.
But you can take a sword, or you can take swords, right? Like
A hammer,
is
a sword,
pretty good
yeah.
to take. Yeah, or Gentum armor, or something like that.
Yep.
Okay.
It's sweet.
We have Sharky, Tyrant of the Shire, 4 mana, Dimir, 2/4, Avatar Rogue. Activated abilities of lands your opponents control can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. And it has all activated abilities of lands your opponent controls, except mana abilities. Mana of any type can be spent to activate Sharky's abilities. C average? So what do you do with...
This thing is garbage. I don't know what you're supposed to do with this.
So you can't take the mana abilities, right? So you can't be like,
No.
here's my Gaia's Cradle.
It's a fetch land. You can sack it to tutor a land out of your deck.
That's
Maze of it.
terrible.
Maze of it. You can Maze
Maze
of it
of
with
it.
Sharky.
So you need a maze, your opponent to have Maze of It so that you could do that.
And it shuts off their Maze of It, which could be an actual problem for your deck.
Ooh,
right?
What if your opponent has a Thespian stage? What ends up happening if you turn this into another land? Does it become a land? It probably does, doesn't it?
It
Is
does.
it still a
I
creature?
think so.
Well, no, what does Thespian stage say though? Does it say it's still a land?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think so. Let me see.
It becomes a copy target.
Thespian-
Yeah, it becomes a land.
Yeah,
Hey, it's like ramp. It's Dimir ramp.
for 4 mana, I could
For 4
trade
mana.
my commander.
I I feel like this just really annoys opponents, and then they probably kill it, even though it's like a 4-mana 2/4 that doesn't actually do much. But I feel like you're gonna just anger people for no real benefit out of Sharky.
Can't be strip mined. You can strip
No
mine
fetch land for you.
Yeah.
All right. Shelob, Child of Ingoliant. 6 mana, Golgari, 8/8, legendary creature, Spider Demon, Death Touch, Ward 2. Other spiders you control have Death Touch and Ward 2. Whenever another creature dealt damage this turn by a spider you control dies, create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it's a food with the food ability, and it loses all other card types. So they're not creatures anymore, but they retain their abilities. And
you could have a food token of, I don't know, Shadowfax. Right? Like, you essentially get a bunch of, like, artifacts or whatever with passives, right?
Yeah. So we got Bs across the board for this. We like, what do we do with Shelob?
I mean, you build a spider deck. Like, you build a spider deck, you have them fight or you have them bite, I mean. You know what I mean? That way damage happens and then death touch happens. You just build a board of super sweet artifacts with passives. That's what I would want to do with them.
Yeah, fight spells work really well with it. Lure effects, anything that's like all creatures must block it because it has death touch, so we can take down the entire team. And then you get all the ETBs, you get all the static abilities of all the things that dies. You can throw in token synergies like doubling season to double up the food that you make to have even more of those effects. Actually, this is the next commander I'm playing on Commander Clash. This is one that I'm actually really hyped about. It's a really unique design and also really flavorful for a spider, like eating its prey, wrapping it into a web, the whole thing. So I like this card a lot.
Yeah, there's got to be some self combo where you turn your own creatures into foods and do something. I don't know what it would be, but you could, for example, turn your creatures into foods and then wrath or something and keep your creatures around. Or, I don't know, something that requires your thing to be an artifact. So you change the creature into an artifact and do some combo. So I'm interested to see where people go with this. It's a pretty cool card. And then the other version is Shelob Dreadweaver, 4 mana, 3/3, mono black. Whenever a non-token creature an opponent dies, can exile it. 3 mana, put a creature exiled with Shelob into its owner's graveyard. Put 2 +1/+1 counters onto Shelob. Draw a card. X and 2. Put target creature card with mana value X exiled with Shelob onto the battlefield, tapped under your control. Bees across the board. It reanimates. It's graveyard hate, I guess. It is graveyard hate, and then
it's nice to have that exile passive. I like that.
Yeah, it only works with things on the battlefield, which is a little bit restricting, but it does have a lot of flexibility, like card draw, reanimation, graveyard hate. Like that's a lot of good effects stapled together.
Yeah.
Why did the spider get so many good cards?
She loves the big
Legolas over there crying in a corner. Okay, Smeagol, helpful guide. 3 mana Golgari, 4/2, halfling horror. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died under your control this turn, the ring tempts you. When the ring tempts you, target opponent reveals cards from the top of the library until they reveal a land card. Put that card onto the battlefield tapped under your control, and the rest into their graveyard. A average. We got 2 B's, an A, and an S. Crim with the S for Smeagol. Is this a meme or is Smeagol an S?
I have, like, it's not just a meme because I have it built. Like, it is built. I went and spent real money on green cards to make this deck happen. Like, that's how much I like this deck. It was a lot of fun. It's a mill your opponents and then rummage through their graveyard, grab stuff from them, get their lands. Like, this deck, the way it's built, it's very fun. You can build Golgari Mill. And I have Sword of Body and Mind in the deck. So, like, yeah, like, this card does ramp a lot. And there's so many landfall triggers that you can get off this. There's the numerous infinite combos with, like, landfall token producers. Let's just go Scoot Swarm. And then you have Dunedain Rangers. And like a sack outlet, and you can infinitely mill out the table. There's a lot you can do with this commander, and it has to do with mill. So if you're looking for a mill that isn't just blue and black, this one's pretty gosh darn cool.
I agree. I mean, I think rampant growth on cool. Every ring tempts you is insane.
Yeah.
And like non-basics too, right? You can get your opponents like cracked non-basics. I think this is the best card in the set, actually, and it has a lot of upside. So I really like Smeagol. It's like 3 mana. Unlike these other cards, like 8 drop Sauron or whatever, right? Like Smeagol's 3 mana. You're gonna play with Smeagol because there'll be games with Sauron where you literally do nothing, you cast it, it gets wiped, and like your commander is like not effective.
Yeah,
Smeagol's a 3-drop. You're gonna see Smeagol, and he's gonna get some lands. He's gonna guide you. He's gonna guide you to Mordor. So I actually like Smeagol.
Yeah, and he's so good with a Tireless Tracker and the 3 mana thing that makes a treasure or food token. The other tracker, Provisionary Tracker or something from Modern Horizons.
Yeah, Tireless Provisioner, yeah.
Yeah, or Tireless Provisioner. Yeah, there it is. Those
it is cool with
landfall
shenanigans. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so nice. I don't know. I absolutely love this commander.
All right. Strider, Ranger of the North. 4 mana, Gruul, 4/4. It's a landfall card. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. If that creature has 4 or greater power, it gains first strike until end of turn. That's a lot of do nothing on that card.
Yeah.
So that's a D, right?
Yeah, that's a wow. Okay.
That is a hard D.
I'm not even sure it's a 99 card unless you're a fan of Aragorn here and you want a Strider form. Next, we got Balrog. Balrog has 3 versions. Durin's Bane, 7 mana Rakdos, 7/5, costs 1 less for each permanent sacrifice this turn. Haste, it can't be blocked except by legendary creatures. When it dies, destroy target artifact or creature an opponent controls. We got A's and B's, averaging out to an A. How do we get the sack going for this?
Oh, this card is going to lose you, friends. Like, because it triggers on things that anyone sacks. So the correct way to build around this, I think, is just like wildfire. Blow up all your opponent's lands, make them sacrifice their lands, play this on the empty board. When they like Death Cloud. It's like the best Death Cloud commander. Float some mana, Death Cloud, wipe out all people's stuff, play this from the command zone, beat down with this hasty threat to close out the game. So it combos with the most hated miserable cards in the game, which is why I actually really want to build this deck. Yeah,
it's the most Balrog thing you want to do, right?
It is, yeah.
I like the little like finger to you, like when it dies, destroy an artifact, just like one artifact creature, like on the way out. bring him down. Okay, the next Balrog is Flame of Udon, 5 mana, 7/7, trample. When a legendary creature an opponent control dies, put Balrog on the bottom of its owner's library. Okay.
This is probably the worst rare in the entire set.
Like, why are you putting it at the bottom?
Not even close.
And it's like a 5 mana, 7/7.
Okay.
Oh, it's horrible.
There is one thing that is kind of like, actually, you can't even do it. You can't even do it. You can't even tunnel vision yourself and then self-mill.
This needs to be like a 21/21 or something with that drawback. Like, it's just not big enough to have the demon drawback. Like, you need much more power than a 7/7 ground trampler. Like, why? Why? That's not even that big these
the bottom
days.
Of your library in some way? Is there some bottom of the library?
Grenzo's like the one card. Yeah, you can put stuff from the bottom into play potentially. So,
but then they just sack another legendary and send his ass back to the bottom.
Okay, we got the Balrog of Moria. 7 mana, Rakdos, 8/8, trample haste. When it dies, you may exile it. When you do, for each opponent, exile up to 1 target creature that player controls. Cycling 4. When you cycle the Balrog, create 2 treasure tokens. 3 Ds and an A from Tomer. I'm going to assume Tomer ranked it highly as part of your 99. Because you can't use the cycling ability in your command zone. But even then, is this good? Even
I mean,
I think it's actually sweet in the 99.
In demons, right? Like, if you care about the creature type, this ramps you into your whatever huge demon commander.
This is perfect in Be'lakor.
You might cast it. Yeah, like, I think in a demon deck it's good. I would not play it in the command zone.
It's a terrible commander.
No.
Yeah, it's a terrible commander. It literally only has that trample haste and whatever the other text is when it dies.
All right. We have the Gaffer, 3 mana, mono white, 2/3. At the beginning of each end step, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, draw a card. Is this the Soul Sisters commander?
This is it right here
across the board.
I mean, this is like one of the best 99 cards for a food deck, because food gain you 3 life. So that's what this is supposed to be. Like, you can play it as your commander and like crack a bunch of food and draw a bunch of cards. I am much more hyped about playing it in my Sam deck or my Frodo and Sam deck or whatever than as my commander, though.
Why does the artwork look like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas?
It doesn't it? It does. Oh god.
All right. The Mouth of Sauron. 5 mana, 3/4, Dimir. When the Mouth of Sauron enters the battlefield, target player mills 3 cards, then amass Orcs X, where X is the number of instant or sorcery cards in that player's graveyard. Oh, I'm shocked at this. So C average, even Crim with the C, we're not seeing the sort of body mind upside here. You just mill a bunch and then amass a big orc.
I mean, okay, that's the only reason why it's got a C, right? Because it can come down. It has mill, and it pairs well with Sword of Body and Mind. So it's at the very least, its floor is a C. But otherwise, what am I doing?
It's only
with
ETB,
this?
so you can't like repeatedly do it in an easy fashion. You need to actually like blink it or something. Okay, Theoden, King of Rohan, 3 mana Boros, 2/3. When it or another human ETBs under your control, target creature gains double strike until end of turn. 2 Bs, a D, and a C.
Dude, I think this could kill somebody. This could very easily kill somebody. Right? Like, I mean, you just have access to a constant way to give, as long as it dies and then it goes back, right? You have a way to give double strike. I think that this isn't like the worst thing, and it's also nice whenever another human enters the battlefield, target creature gains double strike. Like, wow. I think this is actually not that bad. I think this is like a very solid, just human commander. Like you could get pretty.
You gave Theoden a D. You're not a believer in double strike?
Remember, we're ranking this based on being our commander. We're ranking it on being a commander. If I'm playing a humans deck in commander, I want to play Eowyn, which just like draws me cards and makes a ton of humans. I want to play Janira Kudro. Like, there's a lot of really good human commanders. I don't see the appeal of just playing this as my commander when I could play one that draws me cards and does all this cool stuff and then just throw this in the 99 for when I need to kill someone.
But those are like S tier commanders.
Yes, that's what it's competing with. It is competing with literally some of the strongest S tier commanders in the game.
Yeah, but the problem is it's a combat trick in the command zone. So people can look at your board, be like, well, this thing had if this team had double strike, or if certain creatures on this team had double strike, we're dead. So let's kill them, right? So that's the problem with like the overruns and the double strikes in the command zone. Like, everyone sees it coming, and they will make sure it doesn't happen. So yeah. The Watcher in the Water, 5 mana, 9/9, mono blue Kraken. It ETBs with 9 stun counters on it. Whenever you draw a card during an opponent's turn, create a 1/1 blue tentacle creature token. Whenever a creature you control dies, untap up to 1 target Kraken and put a stun counter on up to 1 target non-land permanent.
This is the Stone Cold Stunner, Stone Cold Steve Austin himself.
It's like Thing in the Ice,
the Watcher
right?
in the Water.
Like it's like turned off when it comes in, so you can't use its body, and then it kind of just does stuff until it eventually turns on.
You make tentacles. You just literally make tentacles and draw cards. What's wrong with that? That's a good time.
I mean, is this card good? Like, it seems like a good control commander. Like, if you're planning on leaving up like your mana every turn, you cast your card draw spells and brainstorms, you make a bunch of tentacles, you leave up your counters. Like, I don't even know if you need the 9/9 for it to be worth it. Like, if this was a enchantment with that ability, like, that would be pretty sweet, right? Like, wouldn't it be kind of fine just to like make a bunch of tokens by casting card draw spells?
Yeah, this is sweet. Now in mono blue as a commander, the fact that it is a creature, I guess, like, it is more susceptible to like removal and yada yada yada. But like, it's one of those things where it's just nice. Now you have a commander that can be a mono blue kind of a fun control Watcher in the Water. You know, like, I don't know. I like it. I think it'd be a fun control commander.
Best Ristic Study commander, probably.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, this would get you killed, but you can. The thing is, you can block and keep stunning everything. So every time a tentacle dies, you can stun something.
Yeah,
to keep it down. Yeah,
that's why this is the Stone Cold Stunner. I'm gonna get this altered with Stone Cold Steve Austin on it. That's what I need to have happen.
All right, Tom Bombadil, 5 color commander. One of each color. So 5 mana value, 4/4. He was a god? I don't remember this at all. Legendary creature, God Bard. As long as there are 4 or more lore counters among sagas you control, Tom has hexproof and indestructible. Whenever the final chapter of a saga you control resolves, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a saga card. Put that card onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. This ability triggers only once each turn. A's across the board. A very pushed saga commander, right?
It does one thing, but it's really good at doing that one thing.
And it's going to be annoying, right? Like, it's going to be fun, you do it, and then all of a sudden, all the sagas, you're like, this should never just be on the board. This is a commander that will never be allowed to stay on the board.
Like, how are you going to get it off the board, though, with Hexproof and Indestructible? I guess that's fair. That is, like, a really strong form of protection as well.
It's Vampire so Hex Mage, baby.
Yeah!
Is there a way to finish sagas in your opponent's turn? Proliferate, I guess?
Yeah,
to get around the once per turn restriction? Mm-hmm. Yeah, this card's going to be popular.
This card is really good. Treebeard, Gracious Host, 4 mana, Selesnya 0/5, legendary creature Treefolk, trample board 2. When it ETBs, create 2 food tokens. Whenever you gain life, put that many +1/+1 counters on target halfling or Treefolk.
Now, it's put that many counters equal to the life gained.
Yes.
That's not...
So if you gain 10 life, you put 10 counters.
That's big.
A Treefolk or halfling.
This might be the Soul Sister commander.
Yeah.
So yes, like, you're supposed to play it with Halfling and Treefolk and, like, do those synergies. But what if you just play Life Gain Voltron? Like, it has Trample and Ward too. We saw it during our pre-con game of Commander Clash get really big really quickly. Like, if you actually build around it, can't you just be one-shotting people with commander damage pretty easily with this card?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, also, he comes with 2 food tokens. So you can just untap and sack the 2 food tokens, and you have, at minimum, 6/11? Like a 6/11. Right, without any other things. So, yeah, I think Treebeard is really good. And Trample, that's a Trample right there. I mean, Tomer played it, and it was extremely scary. He didn't have to work hard for it. It's a 4 mana card. So
yeah, just accidentally was huge. Yeah.
All right. Down to the final cards. Ugluk of the White Hand, 4 mana Rakdos, 3/3. It's another uncommon orc. Whenever another creature you control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Ugluk. If that creature was an orc or goblin, put 2 +1/+1 counters instead. D.
Pretty bad. The name is funny.
It does have a funny name.
It does nothing. It doesn't do much.
This set,
it's 2
this
colors.
Set loves its hill giants. There are so many 4 mana 3/3s in this set.
They're orcs. They're just all like on flavor. They're just replaceable random fodder for the main heroes to mow down, right? Like,
I guess that's true.
All right. Witch King, Bringer of Ruin, 6 mana, 5/3, legendary Wraith Noble. It's mono black, flying. When it attacks, defending player sacrifices a creature with the least power among creatures they control. D's across the board. Tomer with the C. This is a 6 mana 5/3.
Yeah,
it should make it hit the biggest creature or something, right? Isn't that like the weirdest way to have the edict? Like, that's the most powered down version of it that you could possibly make. Sack your 1/1, please.
Or actually, like maybe all players or something. Sack, right? But it's only one player.
I don't think that's a gameplay design. I think that might be something because like it's probably trying to blow up all the hobbits, right?
So it's a flavor thing. Okay,
I think it's got to be a flavor thing because it's trying to blow up the hobbits.
Well, flavor-wise, it's probably a win, but magic-wise, yay.
All right, and then the last card, Witch King of Angmar, 5 mana, 5/3, flying, legendary Wraith Noble. Whenever 1 or more creatures deal combat damage to you, each opponent sacrifices a creature that dealt combat damage to you this turn. The ring tempts you. Discard a card. It gains indestructible until end of turn. Tap it.
It's kind of cool, dude.
It's like it's a
no mercy
anti-attacking card, right? Like a little pillow fort.
Yeah, that's so cool. I don't know. I don't think it's like good. I don't think it's like the best thing. It's just like a solid B. I think it's a good.
So we gave it C average, Crim higher at the B. So if they hit you with 10 creatures, they just got to sack 1. Right?
Yeah.
They don't have to sack 10. So they're just going to hit you with a lot of creatures and you're going to die. 5 mana, 5/3. It's a mythic. This is I'm surprised.
It's okay. It's pretty good. Okay,
It's
you know what,
probably it's remember a limited set too. It might be that this would be super obnoxious and limited if it was a rare and you saw it all the time. It is a Wraith though, and there's not that many good Wraiths in Magic, so that is relevant for like Nazgul decks, Lord of the Wraiths decks. Like there are Lord of the Nazguls decks, so I think it's going to show up in the 99. But I'm a big Lord of the Nazguls fan if I'm going Wraith mode.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. I'm looking at it more like a 99 card, and I think I'm downgrading it to a C because, like, yeah, if I'm playing Wraiths, it's gonna be Lord of the Nazgul.
That completes every legendary from Lord of the Rings ranked. Like half of the cards are not meant to be your commander, even though the legendary, because everything's a legendary. And then even of the cards that are meant to be your commander, some of them do very unique things that we don't know how to break yet. Maybe we can break it eventually. And then there are a handful of like really powerful cards. I noticed that Seth and myself didn't give out a single S. Krim gave out some S's. Tomer gave out some S's. So do with that information what you will.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
I guess
I don't. Go ahead, Grim.
I was just gonna say, I guess it's more of like I just only gave them S's outside of obviously Build a Pony being the like just a clear S. Like the other S's, it just feels like in the grand scheme of the set, these commanders, these cards are definitely, you know, an Avengers level threat, an arch enemy commander, whatever, however you want to call it, right? When you look at the rest of the things in the set,
for me,
so much better.
For me, I would agree with Krim that compared to the rest of the set, those cards are really good. For me, it was hard to give out any S's just because I don't see an Atraxa or a Prosper or an Ur-Dragon, like anything on that level that's going to just like really have this massive impact on the commander format as a whole. On the other hand, there's a lot of cards I'm excited to build around, and there's actually some cards that I think are pretty powerful too. Even if they're not S's, there's quite a few A's in here. So even though, yes, we went through all the random commons and uncommons, there are some good cards to pick out if you're playing the 99 or even build decks around. So,
all right. And to close off the podcast, give me your one favorite card, the most favorite card you're looking forward to build out of the entire set.
I really like Shelob, but I think it's actually the Belrog Druin's Bane. Like the idea of having the perfect Death Cloud commander is very appealing to me. So I'm gonna lose some friends. Look out for that on a future commander clash. Y'all are gonna hate me.
Oh no.
I mean, I'm definitely playing Smeagol. Like I built Smeagol. I went out and made sure I had Smeagol ready at like launch date. So I am gonna play the hell out of that.
I actually really like Smeagol too. So since Krim took that, you know what I'm gonna do? The white 4-mana 3/3. What was his name?
The
Baragon.
Bird?
We're gonna make Baragon work. In the age of 2023 where every card is so pushed, right? You need to be able to play with these secondary no-name characters that you pick up from your draft chaff, right? I want to actually make one of these like hill giants do some work. And it's going to involve a lot of Teferi's protections and secret rendezvous, but I'm sure we can get there. Maybe a Voltron strategy, but we're going to have Baragon have his time to shine. It's like the spin-off series. So after Lord of the Rings is done, you have like the random like Netflix show about random side character that you've never heard of, but they have their own series. Baragon.
That's Baragon. That's what Baragon is.
Coming soon.
Baragon's daily life on Middle Earth. He's just this guy working 9 to 5, trying to feed his family.
He's just making humans vigilant. Yep.
All right, so that is Lord of the Rings. So let us know which cards you're excited to play with. Let us know what you think the best cards are in the set. If there's anything we missed, any combos that we didn't see, maybe underrated some cards because we couldn't see the synergies. And let us know what you think of the set as a whole. So yeah, until next time. Oh, next episode is going to be a special episode. It's going to be our 100th episode celebration, even though we're like 3 episodes late because of Lord of the Rings. So tune in for that. We're going to basically tier rank everything not Magic related. So it'll be a fun one just for the fans who've been with us for a long time. So be sure to check back next week, and we'll see you all then. See ya.